Here among Democrats for many, many years. Do you, if you know who he will be supporting or who he'll be voting for, do you care to share with us who he might be voting for?
Dick Cheney will be voting for Kamala Harris.
Okay. Wow. Words I never expected to hear.
If you look at Vice President Harris's speech, for example, at the Democratic Convention, it is a speech that Ronald Reagan could have given. It's a speech that George Bush could have given. It's very much an embrace and an understanding of the exceptional nature of this great nation, a love of America, a recognition that America is a special place, a recognition that we all have to work together to ensure that. And you contrast that to ensure that we maintain it. You contrast that with what we hear from Donald Trump, again, on a daily basis, that America is a failing nation, that America is a laughing stock, the trash talking of the United States of America.
Tim Miller, your thoughts?
Well, Nicole, I mean, in some ways, obviously, this is a shock. It's an earthquake. Dick Cheney, Darth Vader, voting for the Democrat should be a wake-up call to everybody. In other ways, it's not that much of a surprise because of what we've seen from Liz Cheney and just the backbone from the Cheneys. I want to go back to Dick cut an ad for her in her primary that she lost to a MAGA Republican when she was sacrificed at the altar of Donald Trump's insurrection by the Republican Party. And in that ad, he said, in our nation's 246-year history, there has never been an individual that was a greater threat to the Republic than Donald Trump. There's nothing more important that Liz will ever do than lead the effort to make sure Donald Trump is never again near the Oval Office, and she will succeed. I mean, that's as straightforward as it gets. That is classic Dick Cheney. If love him or hate him, he always was clear-eyed about what he thought was the right approach. And in this case, Dick Cheney is looking at this and seeing Donald Trump as the greatest threat in the history of the Republic. I mean, that is not mincing words. So I agree with everything you said in the intro. I think this is huge news. It also means we should mention that now the last two Republican VPs will not be voting for Trump. And Mike Pence is neutral, I guess. And Dick Cheney so Donald Trump's own VP is not voting for him. And then the previous Republican VP is voting against him.
Vice President Cheney interpretation of the vice president?
Vice President Cheney has been the most dangerous vice president we've had probably in American history. He has the idea he doesn't realize that Article 1 of the Constitution defines the role of the Vice President of the United States. That's the executive branch. He works in the executive branch. He should understand that. Everyone should understand that. The only authority the Vice President has from a legislative standpoint is to vote. Only when there is a tie vote. He has no authority relative to the Congress. The idea he's part of the legislative branch is a bizarre notion invented by Cheney to aggrandize the power of a unitary executive, and look where it's gotten us. It has been very dangerous.
Let's talk conventional.
We are still trying to figure out what it does to us as a country, and specifically what it does to the Republican Party, to have had somebody that radical in the vice presidency for 8 years. How does that affect the party in an ongoing way, particularly as the party is still sort of trying to find itself? I mean, when George W. Bush left office, his approval rating was 22%, but Dick Cheney's was 13%. Herpes was more popular than Dick Cheney when he left office. America woke up from the Bush years by saying, oh my God, what were we smoking? But Dick Cheney is the concentrated distillate left in the bong water. He is everything America most hates and most hated about Republican radicalism in those years. It all went through him.